Alexa, turn on Dynamic Duo. So, it's Tuesday. And I gotta say, not a great day. Just one of those days, you know, just emotionally. Actually, you know, I don't have a good reason. If I really stopped and thought about it, I'd probably say, what am I whining about? So I'm not going to do that. I mean, there really isn't anything. I mean, you know, no major conflicts, I don't think. I mean, ultimately, it's just, have you ever just wanted to look at one of those stupid, hey, I made $1 bajillion online. You too, you can too. And you know what? Say, screw it, man. I'm going to give him my $100, help him make millions, and waste it on me on trying to make millions. just because I'm just sick of what I'm doing already. Gotta say, it's just one of those things. You know, sometimes when you've done the same thing for, holy moly, 30 years, oh, wow, 30 years, you just finally say, enough's enough, man. It's time to do something new. But then you're like, man, I got too good at my job. And there is nothing else I can do today that's going to replace my income. I got too high up in that territory and didn't save enough money to allow me to quit early. So now I'm like, you know, when you make a good income and you're living just barely more than paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we're not quite paycheck to paycheck, but we're not like, you know, I certainly can't retire. So it's just, and you know, and things don't look good at work. They're planning to, you know, you can tell that the writing's on the wall. Things are not going great. And you're like, yep, my day's coming. My day's coming. And it could be tomorrow, could be next week. But it's coming. Could be next month, could be 6 months. If I make it 6 months, I'll be shocked, to be honest. So now I'm like, how do I make money? How do I transition to something new? Now, some people would say, do a website, Ken, or do a stream. It's like, come on. You don't make money on streams. Unless you've been doing it. Okay, people making money on streams have been doing it for like 5-10 years. Okay, so you ain't going to be making. There are a few people who are just, you know, they just got it going on. And here's the thing, it's not about making money. Yes, I could probably get it up and start making a few $100 a month, maybe $1,000 a month. But that is not gonna cut it, man. That is not gonna cut it. Anyway, I know. You get the privilege of watching me complain while I paint. All right, so let's paint. The least I can do is paint. If that's what I say I'm gonna do, right? If you're gonna get to watch me complain and you want to come in and whine a bit with me, you're welcome to it. I'm willing to share my whining, my whining time. I like, hey, let's whine together, shall we? So okay. So here's who I'm working on. Let's start getting some color on his clothes down here and his armor up here. So what's a good let's go with do I want to go with something? What would I would say a demon would be wearing something. I kind of want to go silverish, which is really not. What about red? No. Trying to think of what a good color to go underneath my skull forms would be here. Underneath those. Black obviously is classic. But I don't want to do black. Maybe I want something. He's kind of got a reddish tint about him. Some people say do bright contrasts. Bright contrast. That's the solution. Is it though? How about gold, pale blue? No. How about do I have any? How about old silver and pale violet? You know that actually might work. Old silver, pale violet. Let's do it. So as you may know, you probably see on my stream there that little video I always have running of the X case, and so if you're into these kind of things, like you like miniatures and painting them, collecting them, storing them, transporting them, and you have a small collection or a big collection, and you just want to be able to take what you want when you go places, you want to display what you want at various locations, but you don't want to have to buy every kind of thing out there. You know, you got a small case, a big case, a display case. You don't need all that. Just buy one case. Well, not one case, but one mage cage or X case will start you on your way, because they all connect and you can create big, massive, cool displays. And you want to know more about them, go to Instagram and YouTube and go to Active Minds Games. Check that out. And if you like those, well, we have mage cages in stock. We don't have. Here's the thing. Go to Facebook and follow us there. We want to do a new Kickstarter to restock our X cases, get some clear units. We're going to make a big unit, a big one that can hold nice big units, big minis, upwards of 7 inches tall and 5 inches wide. We're going to have shelving for configuring your displays, for small ones and big ones all in the same case. More paints, you name it. You can have the whole kit and caboodle in there, transporting your paints and your minis everywhere you go. And what you want when you want it, you know. So check it out, and if you like it, follow us on Facebook. And you say, why Facebook? I don't know, we just picked a spot. Because it's the central point. It's kind of like we have if you go to YouTube and Instagram, you're going to see videos, and you're going to see photos, cool things that you can do with the X case and the mage cage. However, that's but the stuff we really want to get people is our news, and we want to track who actually is interested, because we're going to have a lot of people go to those things, right? A lot of people will check them out, but if you're not interested, you won't go that extra step, right? I mean, if you don't want to be part of it, you're going to say, oh, well, these are interesting, but it's not for me. So you're not going to, but the thing is, you will have already visited, and maybe you like the other stuff we put on there. So Facebook is all about the business. Active Minds Games on Facebook. It's all about the X case, Mage Cage, the Active Minds Games. That's my company. I created these cases, and I use them for my own stuff. So I am not just the owner. I am a customer of the Mage Cage X case. I use them a lot. We have made and sold upwards of 20,000 Mage Cages and X cases, along with inserts. We have inserts that hold them, that'll work as that are magnetic bases. And we have flex iron that you can put on the bottom of your minis to make them stick, so that when you're transporting them, we thought of everything. So I thought of everything. I'm just going to say it. I am Active Minds Games, and I've gotten ideas from people, so don't get me wrong. It's not like, if somebody says, hey, what about this? And I go, hey, good idea. Let's do it. Let me do it. Let me see what I can do. And then I do what I can. And the biggest thing I've had people ask for is a bigger unit. So that's what we're doing. There will be a bigger unit in this Kickstarter, but that means a big mold, a big injection mold. going to be a pricey endeavor to get the mold made. The units will, they'll be reasonably priced, for a large unit like that. But they all interconnect, so you can put big ones with small ones and create your own transportable display cases to fit your configuration needs. They have mounting holes in the back, so you can put them on the wall. Everything is thought of. Front opening doors that allow you to not take the cases completely apart when you want to get to your minis. You can actually get to them while the minis are connected. You just have to swing them open. They'll create a cool display right there on the table while you're pulling out your stuff, and people around you will just ooh and ah and gawk at your cool creation there. So they'll be looking at they'll be looking at your minis more than anything, but they will be visible. And if you ever take them on board with you, six on an airplane is a perfect carry-on size. Typically it's 2-2-2. You're basically doing a triple row, double stack. And a triple double stack, yeah. So, yeah, give them a go, give them a look, and let us know what you think. Leave us comments. Say, hey man, these are cool. I want to be part of it when it launches. Now, we are offering people, if they're interested, if they really want to help us out, they can go to my Patreon page and support me there too. I'm telling you right now, all the money I make doing streaming, all of it, is going either to the stream or to Active Minds games. I don't keep any of it for myself. I don't make... There's not enough money there to be done for myself, so I don't care. I'm not doing it for that. I want to get these cases made for everybody. I've got a lot of people asking about them. When are you going to make these? I keep saying, well, as soon as I got enough people interested. Now, the goal is at 800 people on Facebook. 800 people on Facebook that follow and say, yeah, man, we're interested. That's going to be the trigger for when we announce the Kickstarter. So we don't have a date for the Kickstarter yet. So that's because we don't, we got to have enough people. This is a big Kickstarter, and it's going to probably require at least 1,000 backers. On the average, based on previous Kickstarter we did to get the clear ones made the first time, we're expecting it's going to be about 1,000 backers to get this thing successful. Now, normally the first time I only had about 300 backers, and it was a successful Kickstarter. We got the cases made, but the thing is, this time we're going to try to make enough to make it cyclical, which means making enough units and having enough, the funds to store them as necessary, to market them, to ship them out. So we don't have any problems. So we got to have enough of a Kickstarter to support all the costs related, right? So it's not just making the mold, it's making enough units that allow us to market them, sell them, and have enough money left over to make another run. And that's how it's going to go. We're going to keep we're making a cyclical amount this time. And we sold out so fast last time, I could have probably easily had another production run already ready to go, and it was more of a cowardly. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how popular they'd be. I knew the white ones were good and popular, the clear ones were pretty popular, or the clear ones were crazy popular, the other colors were pretty popular, but I was just not prepared for just how popular. So bad planning on my part, but that's one of those things, this is why I always wonder. A lot of people get mad when companies go to a convention and they sell out everything they brought with them, and they're like, oh, they're just trying to withhold or trying to save the money. They don't want to have It's not true, man. I really believe that a lot of these people, they just don't understand how popular something's going to be. And the thing is, for every one of those that come in there with not enough stuff and they sell out, there are those that bring enough stuff and they don't sell out and they have all this stuff that they can't get rid of. And it's expensive. It's very expensive to bring a bunch of stuff to a convention and then not sell it, because then you have to ship it back or give it away, which is of course expensive too. So you can't. You gotta plot and plan to the to what you can stomach under failure. You can try to adjust, shall I say? Plan for a second shipment. Just do what you can, but ultimately, there's only so much one can plan for. And so don't be too hard on these game companies. I'm talking about even the big ones that know better. They they come in with plenty of product a lot of times and still sell out. And then people are like, they weren't very good at planning their, you know, production is expensive, folks. Production is expensive, and if they sell out everything they made, that's good for them. But they don't want to be short. Trust me, everybody would love to just come in and go, all right, I bought 50,000 of these things and just have enough for everybody all the time. But if you show up with 50,000 and you only sell 1,000, you just lost your shirt, man. That could put a company out of business. So you gotta really know. And those big companies that do that, they make a lot. Sometimes they don't make enough because they underestimate even at the size of their company. So yeah, like say Simon comes out with a new miniatures game, right? Everybody knows Simon. They're the guys that make $1 million every time they do a Kickstarter. And it's like, yeah, I get it, Simon. They make a boatload. They go to a convention and then they sell whatever they have left, and it's gone. And yeah, they may have made $1 million online, and then they may come in with another several thousand minis and ready to sell at a convention, but it's not enough. And then people are like, they should have known better. Their Kickstarter was so popular. Did they? Should they have? Because there's only a few thousand people at a convention. They're not all going to buy Simon stuff, they don't think. You don't know what the current market tolerance is, right? What's everybody got? Maybe all their people bought on Kickstarter. So all those people who go to the convention bought it on Kickstarter. So they show up at the convention and they have not enough product or too much product, and everybody's like, well, we already bought your stuff, man, we don't need any more. It's like, but we brought all these so people wouldn't complain. It's like, well, you probably shouldn't have. We already bought it, man, it's cool, but we don't need it no more. And then what? They're screwed. They got to ship it back. And the bigger you are, the wider the fail is, right? I mean, if you're a small company who doesn't have a lot of money and it's only going to cost you 1,000 or two to bring, stuff back, which is too much for a small company. They can't afford even to waste $1,000, right? Small company, like this is their first game or something. They don't have that money to waste. And if they don't sell it, they're stuck with a bunch of product and they have to ship it back, and then what? It's not cheap. So then companies that are bigger, though, they know that they're dealing with multi thousands, right? They're not dealing with 1,000 units. They're dealing with maybe 5,000 units or 10,000 units, and come in there and everybody wants to buy multiples and they just want to go nuts. And Simon's like, great, but we didn't make that much. And then everybody's thinking that they shorted them on purpose again. And it's like, it's not how it works, Really, I know these companies are not trying to screw people, but because I've been there. I have been the guy who showed up and sold out, and I've been the guy who showed up and was short and didn't and brought too much because that convention wasn't the right convention for me, or the money wasn't there that day, or I wasn't in a good place in the convention hall. Nobody found me, and when they did, it just wasn't enough. You go to the wrong kind of convention, like you show up like with a miniatures case, and you're not like in the middle in the prime spots of the hall, and you go to let's say Gen Con, great game convention, awesome game convention. There's miniatures, there's regular board games, D&D, the whole works. You got the whole gambit of video game. You got the whole gambit of games. You got the whole gambit of board games. So everything. Problem is, you've got everything, and there's only so much money to go around. So how many of those people are there to buy miniatures cases? And how many of them want to take them home? That's the problem. They're kind of big, and if you didn't come planning to take home a bunch of cases, you got to ship them back. So who's shipping them back? Well, me. I'm the one who's going to be shipping them because they're not going to ship them. So I offer them deals like free shipping and stuff because I don't want to take them back with me. The other option is I show up with very little and they just say, hey, we're taking orders and we're shipping them to everybody. No charge. We're just taking orders and shipping them. But, we ship them when we get back and we have them all there. We don't have any shipping costs. That's an option too. But not everybody's up for that, And so, yeah, there's definitely some logistics that make for a challenge as a company. So don't believe it. Don't believe it when everybody's telling you these guys don't know what they're doing. They come close sometimes, and sometimes they fail. But have faith that they're not trying to screw anybody, and they want to sell it. Trust me. If they could bring enough for everybody and always hit it right on the nose, they would do it. Telling you, nobody wants to come up short. Everybody wants to sell everything they can. There's never a benefit to shorting people. I mean, there's no reason to it. So anyway, that's my rant. My business owner rant about conventions. I don't even know how I got there. I'm just saying, I just want to make enough product that I can always at least have it available for people. They say, hey, I want a new case. I got you, man. I'm getting it in the mail as you speak. We do LED cases. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to be able to offer LED cases outside of the United States. Because they are manually prepped cases. You'll see some of the images out there, and they're with LEDs in them. We can put LEDs in cases, but we can't. They're manually done, and we don't have like an office in another country. So we set them up, ship them out, but to get them made, get them LED'd and shipped to you from the U.S. is too expensive. It's just not practical. I mean, we're talking about probably more, in some cases more than the cost of the product itself to ship. That's how silly shipping has gotten these days. So all right, so let's get some what color do I want on there? Let's go with I need something to put on. don't really want to do rust color. I'm kind of going with more of a purpley kind of colors. Reds, browns. Not even browns. I'm going with mostly like reds and blues and dark colors though. But I want something contrasty, right? So should I go with a deep red? Sharp? I'm actually thinking I might go... Let's go with red. Let's go with a vibrant red. We're just going to go all in. Scarlet red. Is that right? Maybe not. Maybe I'll do a shade of it over. I'll shade over it with like a dark color. Put some flex on this guy so I can use my magnet to hold him. You know what? I may have to actually manually put some of his skin tone color in places. I don't think the airbrush got everywhere it needed to. What's he got there? Is that some kind of weird sword? Knife? What is that? I don't think that's his cape. I don't know what that is. Checking to make sure I'm not like getting paint everywhere it's not supposed to be. And rest assured, I'm getting paint where it's not supposed to be. I just want to get it everywhere it's not supposed to be. I've kind of painted backwards. This is the absolute way they tell you don't do it. Don't paint the bottom parts after you've painted the deep parts after you've painted the high parts. the top parts, or the, I don't know what you want to call it, the shallow parts. It's just the bad plan. Because you're just going to end up painting over what you did before. Now, is this an appropriate color for the demon lord king of the gnolls? I don't know. What do I know, man? I don't know what the demon lord king of the gnolls, demon king, demon gnoll lord of the demon king. I don't know what he is even. Yilna Galagu. I know I keep saying I'm gonna look up his name again. Yinengao, something like that. It's weird. It's a weird name. Just saying. Now this is one of the minis I most recently purchased on Etsy. So if you're curious, my last review of an Etsy seller is where I got this one. So check it out. I talk about what I thought about these minis, how good they came out. Obviously this is a pretty cool mini. All the minis were cool. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have bought them if I didn't think they were cool. But there are flaws in the way some of these things were printed in my mind. Not, maybe not the best. But don't get me wrong. They were far, far, far away from the worst I'd seen. So they are plenty good. This particular model is available by multiple online sellers on Etsy. So if you like this model and you have somebody you like that's selling it, go with them. But this company, they did print a good model. The thing is, I'm trying to start finding the companies that are using that new resin that's less brittle. Because I'm finding I don't really care for the brittleness of, especially when you're doing, smaller figs. This guy's a boss guy, so of course he can be bigger, but some of them, not so much. So yeah, just keep it in mind. Check out my review. You'll see I point out pretty much everything I liked and disliked about them. I mean, in addition to their pretty cool appearance, there's things that I expect, I guess. Am I expecting too much? I don't know. But there's things you kind of want or expect from a 3D printed source. Because, a lot of people just say, screw it, I'm going to print it myself. If you can find a printer, that's great. I would probably say go for it. I don't have a 3D printer, or do I have easy access to one? And nor do I. And if I had one, I'd have to, you buy the STLs, and then you probably print a lot more things. And a lot of these guys will resize it for you. And I don't know. I'm not a huge CAD program guy. I don't really know CAD very well. So I don't know how well I would do at resizing. I don't know if it's an easy thing to do. It might be. Change up the scaling. It's probably not that hard because they all do it, or most of them will do it, not all of them. Actually, I kind of like this better after it dries. It's just less red. As bright as it is wet, I kind of want it to be this more toned down, flatter color that seems to shine through the black. Or shine through, it's not black, there's no black on this guy, but um, it shines through his the red once it dries. Gotta be kind of careful where you're putting the brush. And that you're actually hitting everything. I know here I am saying, oh, I like the way it looks. And then I put another coat over it. Oops, I'm getting, see, I'm going to have, keep touching the tail. It's not good. Don't touch the tail over and over again if you don't want the tail to have unwanted coloring, dang it. So right now, what I'm doing is I am just putting, well, I'm basically using the very same color as the highlight. And I can do that because the rest of the thing, it's the darker colors underneath it are soaking through. So you put some extra layers on, and it'll actually. Now I probably will, in fact, use some orange or something to really pop these highlights. But for now, I'm just kind of deepening the red in those spots instead. Yeah, it'll have to be darkened, I think, but I still will use a highlight. Maybe I'll use a browned or a reddened highlight. Um, so yeah, I got a few things. Didn't really set my timer. Probably should have. I got Demon Lord of Knolls right here. I'll have to add, I don't know, 40 minutes. What time is it? What time did I start? Like 8:40? Half an hour ago? Keep saying I'm gonna start doing stuff for my stream here. I'm talking about like, oops, that's not even the right one. It's not. Oops, don't grab the wrong one, Ken. Old silver. That's all. I'm not sure of the right amount, like I say, to shake these things. But this stuff is thin. It could probably go through an airbrush pretty easily. So if you are interested in using it, send it through an airbrush, man. Probably does the trick just as good. Probably save you a little time. If I say that with one caveat, if it's big enough, and you've got that control with your airbrush. I do not. I'm not that guy. I mean, I've done some stuff with airbrushing, and I can get kind of okay stuff, but I'm not at that point where I can control and paint an entire figure. I've seen people do it. They will pretty much paint an entire figure with an airbrush, and I'm like, that's impressive. But alas, not there. Besides, airbrushers are a lot of work. Just to keep them clean and keep them keep moving through. Now, I was doing pretty good the other day when I was switching between base coats, paint stuff, but it's not like the amount of effort to paint small stuff. Like, you can't switch around between colors very easily. So, like, if you're like, oh, I got to go back and do something, it's like, oh, that means I got to reload the color. It's like, nope. I just as soon just use a brush. So here's a tricky part. There's a piece of his knee pad or knee buckle thing there. I can barely reach. I can't see it. Maybe he's not a king. Maybe he's an old demon lord, right? The lord of the demons, demon lord of the gnolls, not a king. Now, a demon lord is worse than a king, right? Because theoretically, they're going to be a heck of a lot more strong, right? I mean, that's the thought. It's kind of weird, this stuff, man. Because it When it's on white, it's like pale silver, and when it's on black, it's like purple. It's really weird. It's it's an unusual it's an unusual thing. It's like I try to say I want to get a little bit more purple in this white area, so I'll put another coat. That don't work. They shift colors based on what's under them, not what's on top of them. It's weird. So if you have a nice transitioning effect between your dark and your light colors, then you put this stuff over it, you're going to get an interesting transition. You might ask, what the heck are you doing? Well, I touched this armor with red, and it put a bunch of red, and it's not covering up well with this paint. So rather than trying to force it to cover up, I'm just taking the red paint off. Enough so that it's not noticeable anyway. Right. Close enough. Alrighty. Where else? Where else can I hit? Well, I'm going to coat this entire chain. Stuff. Now this stuff is, like I say, it's weird because it's really light on light. So I'm probably going to go over it with a coat of like silver to bring it around to a little more silvery silver. But I want it to have this coat. Maybe I'll do like a, I don't know, thin coat, or maybe I'll even just tone down the silver. I just want it to be more silver, just so that this color looks more like a chain. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see what it looks like when I'm done. Stuff is very much like a contrast paint almost. It just kind of gets into all the cracks and crevices and hopefully settles correctly. I do feel like I've mostly hit everything on this chain. It's kind of I don't know, the angles are weird. So it's like anytime you're doing a round thing, it's real easy to like one particular angle you miss, you know. Then you'll look at it later and go, well, how did I miss that? Oddly enough, these things appear to be like on a wooden, I don't know, whatever the tips of these are, is like a wood. The texture is wood. So like, I don't know if it's oak, if I want to do oak or walnut, but something to give it that. This guy's got quite the array of metal, right? It's like purple. This is old, what do they call it? Old silver and violet? No. Old silver and maroon? I don't know what it was. It's old silver, pale violet. That's what this is. So I'm basically making all of his metal bits this pale silver or old silver pale violet color, just because I figure, well, why not? There's all, if he's got one part that's metal that's this color, then let all of it be. But I think I definitely want these chains to be a little deeper silver, though. I may have to just like take this stuff and maybe mix it with silver to give a more silvery effect, like these chains, or maybe even put an old silver color in it to darken them up. But you know, just to get a mix, not an old silver, but like a steel or something like that. Like, what is this color? Yeah, there we go. How about a broadsword silver? So we'll take my old silver pale violet. It's weird though, like I said, this stuff seems to be totally different colored depending on whether or not you put it on black or put it on, like if you put it on black, it becomes basically violet. If you put it on white, it becomes kind of a pale silver. That's it, the color shifters. It just depends on what surface you put it on. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. I did 1 drop to 1 drop. Hopefully it's enough to do this. I don't know what it'll do. It's probably going to be really dark. There you go. I actually like that. It did do what I was hoping. Kind of gave me a darker feel to it. I wanted the chain to be a little bit darker, more, I don't know, just less pale. It works out pretty good. Actually, I think I might even like that for the spiky bits. So a lot of this is just experimenting, trying to decide, you know, trying to get your own color scheme working. Do you like, do you not like? It's up to you, man. I didn't even look up what this guy looks like. What's he supposed to look like? I don't even know. Maybe nose are white. I don't think they are, but most bad guys aren't white, but I don't know. Could be totally wrong about the, maybe they're bright red or mostly black, but who decides that stuff? The person painting it, that's who decides. What makes it the norm? Well, whatever you see the most often is the norm. Does not mean it's the one for you. So, or me. So I just go with my gut. Hopefully I won't. I feel like I've learned enough to not totally wreck something. As like I've learned in the past, like don't put too many colors in something. Just because he's got a lot of bits and details, don't worry about all of them. You're better off not painting some of them or painting them all the same color than you are painting too many different colors on your model. It just doesn't work, man. Things look weird after a while. Also, complementary colors, opposites or same tones. Opposites or same tones work pretty good. Don't start getting all those middle tones and middle colors. And same tones means having everything. In fact, Ninjon actually recommended this, and I thought it was a good idea, and I think it works out pretty good. Do your final wash and highlights all with the same color on everything. It brings, well, I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but he says basically use the same color wash on everything, or final touch-ups, because what it'll do is it'll bring everything into the same realm of color. Even if you've got, like, say, blues and yellows and blues, yellows, greens, whatever, but if you put them all, you give them the same wash at the end, like all a red wash or a blue wash, they all get that tone that brings them back to where they all look like they belong to the same color palette. So I have kind of found that's true. I've used it a few times, and I am in fact a fan of that strategy. But take it for yourself as you will. Experiment sometimes you just got to learn for yourself. You're like, I don't believe that. That's nonsense. Some things I've heard, and I still have this stubborn streak in me I don't even try some things because I'm afraid of it. I'll see people doing stuff online. That looks really cool, but then I go, oh, but that's not going to work for me. It's going to look bad when I do it. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm crazy, not stupid. That only works for the professionals. It does not work for the me's. I don't know. That's obviously not true. It's me making excuses, but alrighty. So I've got straps and leather and stuff to paint on him yet, but I don't know what this is, but it looks like a blade of some kind, so I'm going to paint it all with my new bladey silver. And again, with this, I might even do some highlights, where I actually take some bright silver and just give it some edges. It'll make it pop more. He's got magical, mystical blades, man. That's why they're silver. He's a demon lord. His stuff is not normal. It's mean and vicious and carries a bite. You know what? I'm going to use just a tad thin wash of this stuff over the tops here because I want this to darken up just a tad. Just a little too light for me. There you go. That's a little better. Alrighty. Well, he's making progress. He's getting his demon lordiness going. Having this silver in here, or this broadsword silver, does allow for me to get a better, get those areas that are like a better coat of it on, as in it helps me define that shape better. Okay, that's it for now. That's part 2 Part 2 of the Demon Knoll. He hasn't got any highlights yet. He's still just getting his base colors, but he's getting there. Try to get a little light on him so when I take my picture it's not too far, too dark. It is pretty dark though. Ugh. Not too worried about the quality of the picture since this is very much not meant to be the final. Oh, stop it! Not meant to be the final photo. Oh, I didn't even attach the one from yesterday. All right. Progress has been made. So we will add another, we'll make that 56 minutes. And Unigo, Unigothel, whatever, Yiningao, the Demon Lord of the Knolls, is getting closer. Getting much closer. I'm hoping that I'm actually, I'm trying to set up this pantheon of bad guys that even though the party might avoid them, they might actually not avoid them. Don't tell them. Until next time, take it easy. Goodbye.